The bench beneath the flickering light. Damon lived in a crowded city where noise filled every corner. Honking cars, rushing footsteps, and the constant hum of people chasing something they could never quite name. He moved through it all with a restless heart. His temper was quick, his pride sharp, and his expectations of the world even sharper. One afternoon, after an argument at work that left him fuming, Damon walked aimlessly through the city streets. Neon lights flickered above him, and the smell of street food drifted through the air, but none of it softened his mood. He felt wronged, misunderstood, and convinced that life had treated him unfairly. As he turned into a quieter side street, he noticed a woman sitting on a bench beneath a flickering street lamp. She wore comfortable clothes, her posture serene, as if the chaos of the city could not touch her. A yoga mat rested beside her. Damon might have walked past, but she looked up and said, "You're carrying fires you don't need." Damon stopped. "What fires?" She gestured to the empty space beside her. "Sit." Though confused, Damon sat down. "You burn yourself with anger," she said calmly. "You think it gives you strength, but it only consumes your peace. If you want to taste the sweetness of life, stay far from rage. It promises power, but leaves only smoke." Damon looked away, remembering the harsh words he had thrown earlier that day. "You also burn with pride," she continued. "You expect the world to adjust to your nature, yet you refuse to adjust to anyone else's. If you want harmony, learn to bend. The city will not reshape itself for your comfort." Damon felt the truth of it, though he didn't want to admit it. "And then," she said, brushing a leaf from her sleeve, "you lean on fortune as if it were solid ground. Wealth, status, luck, they shift like shadows on these streets. Don't rely on them. Rely on your character. That is the only thing the city cannot take from you." Damon exhaled slowly. He had spent years envying those who seemed to have more. She looked up at the night sky, where only a few stars managed to shine through the city's glow. "And you fight fate," she said softly. "You run from what must be, as if running could change its direction. Accept what comes. Contentment is not found in controlling destiny, but in meeting it with a steady heart." Something inside Damon loosened, a knot he had carried for years without noticing. "There's more," she said gently. "Close your eyes for a moment." Damon hesitated, then closed them. "What do you hear beyond the noise?" she asked. At first, only the city. But then, distant birds, the rustle of leaves in a nearby tree, his own breath. "Open your eyes," she said. "But truly open them. Look at what you haven't been seeing." He looked around. The same street, but now he noticed the small garden growing between two buildings, the way the streetlight caught drops of rain on a window, the texture of the old brick wall. "You've forgotten nature," she said. "The earth, the mountains, the rivers, they're still here, even in this city. A potted plant on a windowsill. A tree breaking through concrete. The sky above you every single day. Connect with these simple things. When you can, eat what comes from the earth. Fruits, vegetables, food that grows. It's not just nourishment for your body, but a way to remember you're part of something larger." Damon nodded slowly, thinking of how long it had been since he'd noticed such things. "And you must let go," she continued, her voice soft but firm. "Forgive those who have harmed you. Not for them, for yourself. Holding on to old wounds is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Forgive. Forget. Release." He thought of faces, of grudges he'd nursed for years. "Practice being present," she said. Right now, in this moment, you are not your past failures or your future fears. You are simply here. Watch your thoughts as they arise. Observe them like clouds passing through the sky, but don't become them. Don't say, "I am angry." Say, "There is anger." See the difference? Damon did. Your ego tells you stories, she went on. Stories about who you are, who wronged you, what you deserve. These stories create suffering. When you notice them, gently set them aside. Return to now, to your breath, to your body, to what is actually happening rather than what you fear or regret. She placed her hand over her heart. There's old pain stored in your body, emotional residue from years of holding tight to hurt. Recognize it when it rises. Don't feed it with your attention. Just observe it, breathe through it, and let it dissolve. In your relationships, she added, let go of the need to be right, to defend your position, to prove your worth. Connect from presence, not from ego. You'll find that real connection happens when you stop performing and simply are. The street lamp flickered. She stood, picking up her yoga mat. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, she said, looking at him with kind eyes. It means aligning yourself with what is. Not resisting reality, but moving with it. Like water flowing around stone. That's where your power lives. Not in fighting, but in flowing. She smiled. Start small. Tomorrow morning, before the city wakes, find a patch of green. Sit on the earth. Breathe. Notice. That's where it begins. Damon blinked. She walked away into the night, and he realized he didn't even know her name. He walked home slowly, the noise of the city softer than before. He felt lighter, as though he had set down a weight he didn't know he was carrying. In the days that followed, he lived differently. He sat in a small park at dawn and watched the sun rise. He bought vegetables from the farmer's market and felt the earth still clinging to their roots. He caught himself spinning stories about his co-workers and simply stopped, returning to his breath. When anger arose, he observed it until it passed like a wave. He forgave an old friend he'd stopped speaking to, not with grand gestures, but with a quiet release in his heart. He learned to taste his food, to feel his footsteps, to exist in the space between past and future, the eternal now that had always been there, waiting. And in time, he discovered something simple and profound. A heart freed from fire becomes warm instead of burning. A mind freed from time becomes vast instead of cramped. And in a city of millions, presence is rarer than any ambition.